Hi everybody, Mrs. Barnes here. By now you've had a chance to look at the Pointillism PowerPoint where we talk about the art of George Seurat and this style that he came up with using dots of color that the eye mixes together. And so now you are ready to create a piece of your own. So give me just a moment here. We're going to readjust the camera and then we will begin working in the style of Pointillism to create a lovely piece of art. Are you ready? I am too. Let's do this. Now you're ready to begin. So in your packet that was sent home on Monday, you had little paperclip papers together. This one says Pointillism, so you know that these two pieces would be used for your Pointillism project. This is where you do your art, of course, on the other side. And then when you're finished, we would use the black piece of paper for you to put behind your work, kind of evenly place it and mat it so it looks like a finished piece. You may also notice that this is a small piece of paper, and that's because Pointillism takes time, and I wouldn't want anyone to be discouraged by trying to complete a giant piece. So we're going to do a mini masterpiece in Pointillism. So if you're ready, so am I. Let's begin. First thing I want you to do is to get some scrap paper, some computer paper, any drawing paper you have around the house, and I want you to do a few sketches to plan out what you're doing. You never go directly to the good piece of paper without trying a few sketches first. So let's talk. You might want to do a simple landscape. In this case, you'd kind of start with your ground line, the horizon line, add maybe some bushes or trees in the background. Maybe some small flowers would look good here, a tree. So a landscape is a great idea. You might decide to do a flower in a vase. It could be very simple. You could do this easy flower, you could do by itself, or you could do a couple of flowers in the vase. You could just do a bunch of flowers. Now here's something I want to remind you. And when you do Pointillism, it takes a very long time to do the background. And the background is just one color, usually, and can get tedious. So draw big. Make your picture fill the page so that you don't have oodles and oodles of empty background space to fill. That's important. So landscape, flower vase. I've kind of started here. You can kind of see even something as simple as a group of hearts. That you can fill in and make different colors. I was starting to have fun here, looking around at some of my other sketches to show you. You could do a single flower. Now this is a really small piece of paper, but you see how the flower fills the page? Very little boring background to do, so that is another good idea, okay? So once you begin, you draw your paper, you draw your sketch out on the free draw paper, and then you're ready to put it on the good paper. All right, so let's find out what happens from here. So I've kind of started some Pointillism in progress, and I have that nifty flower that we talked about before. And I want my flower to look orange, so those of you that have learned about your mixing colors, we know that yellow, well, I have the lid off, but yellow and red make orange. So we're going to use these two colors. We are not going to mix them together or color on top. We are going to place the dots side by side and let the eye do the mixing. So first thing I would do if I were you, draw this in pencil. Do not outline with a Sharpie. Repeat, do not outline with a Sharpie. The first thing you would do is to take small dots and outline what you've done here. Put them pretty close together for the outline. Then you can start spreading them out, kind of far apart at first. You'll get closer together later. And I would do the entire flower petal in this way, first with my red. Now, are some of these dots going to be closer together than others? Yes. Are some of these dots going to touch or be on top of others? Yes, because we don't want to worry about aiming each dot perfectly. So we're just going to kind of fill it in. That really didn't take too much time now, did it? I'll come back and grab some of this too. All right, once I've done that, I've outlined and I've filled in. I'm going to take my second color, which was the yellow, and I'm going to go in between all of those orange dots. Now, You shouldn't have to mash your marker down to get these dots of color. We don't want you to ruin your markers over a project on pointillism. So just start filling in. Get them close together. Your yellow will go on top of your red, and then I always come back and pick up a little more red in between to fill it in. All right, so there's an example of how the flower goes. All right, I'll show you one that's a little further ahead so you can see what happens. Take a look at this one. Gotten a little farther. Do you see how I put many more dots in red close together and it made it look shaded? 4th and 6th grade, you'll be interested in that because closer together makes it look darker, and when one petal is next to the other, it really helps each petal stand out. Down the side of the stem, I did green and yellow on the other side. Our eyes will mix together and we'll see sort of a yellow-green, but most interesting is the background, because I did my blue dots and in between I did red, and pretty soon, lo and behold, our eye is going to do the work and this is going to look quite purple, and that's a cool thing. So by the time you're done with this, you're really going to have an appreciation for the art of pointillism and how long it took. Can you imagine now doing a 6-foot by 10-foot piece of art all in tiny dots? I'll tell you what a pointillist artist needs to have. Patience, right? Absolutely. So I'm just kind of showing you some ideas here. You see my fish. And the important thing about the fish is when you have something like teeth that you want to stand out, make sure you put these dots close together so it looks darker, and then the white of the teeth will stand out. I did a little blue in amongst my green because I wanted to show like waves of water with the blue-green. And I did a yellow and green mix here. When it's finished, it's going to look pretty stunning on my black framed background. So here's the deal. When you're done, you will flip it over on a placemat. You're going to run your glue around the outside edges, and you're going to center it on your framed piece. I'm going to use this smaller piece of art because it fits actually. Okay? Glue around the outside edges and lay it on. Use your eyes to eyeball it. We don't want it skinny on one side and fat on the other, now do we? Center it as best you can, and then flip it over and write your name on the back. Do you know how proud I am going to be when you turn these into me and you've actually completed them? It's going to be pretty mighty, and I'm looking forward to it. So here's to your first project in this very unconventional art class. And if you have any questions, please email me. I'd be happy to answer. And hey, take pictures and show me your progress on the parent portal on Facebook. Your mom and dad will know how to do that. I'd love to see how you're progressing along. So enjoy your first project in pointillism and use good craftsmanship. And I will see you for your next lesson next Tuesday. I'll send the email and the link. So happy creating.